Mother Africa. So, Africa. Now that all participants have played, we are now at the halfway point in African World Cup qualifying. Let's take a look at where things stand. My reactions. Well, in Group A, Tunisia got a very, very important 2-1 victory over the Democratic Republic of Congo. That puts them at 9 points from 3 wins, one of only two teams in Africa qualifying this round overall to win all three of their first games. Uh, to win all, yeah. So they face a return fixture next week in DR Congo, and this match is going to decide who goes to the World Cup, in my opinion. Because if Tunisia can get a result on the road in DR Congo, it's unlikely the Congolese will be able to catch up to Tunisia unless Tunisia just collapses in their last two games after that to Libya and to Guinea. So if, let's say, Tunisia gets a draw, they go to 10 points. DR Congo goes to 7. What would have to happen would be Tunisia would have to drop points somewhere along the way, maybe even lose one of their last two games. Now, their road game against Guinea is tricky, but they'll have to be careful there. Now, about Tunisia beating DR Congo 2-1 is absolutely crucial because Tunisia are looking to qualify for their first World Cup since 2006. DR Congo is looking to qualify for their first World Cup under their name of their country. They participated under the name Zaire, but I believe the last time they actually played in a World Cup was sometime in the 1980s or 70s. I'm not sure. So I would love to see DR Congo qualify, please. And not all hope is lost and by any means, because heading into this match, DR Congo had a much superior goal differential, which means if DR Congo can win the second leg, even 1-0, if DR Congo wins the second leg by any scoreline, they go ahead of Tunisia on goal difference, level on points, but ahead on goal difference. Just need to take care of business in their last two games. So I'm pretty hopeful they can get a win next week. They're playing at home, they should, because this is just a side that is just dripping with talent. I think the World Cup would be better with DR Congo in it. I said before, I think they have the potential to become the best African nation in soccer within the next couple of years if they really pushed for it, and we'll see how that goes. Elsewhere, Guinea defeated Libya in a close match 3-2. They took a commanding 2-0 lead. Towards the end of the match, Libya fought back, scoring twice within the span of a few minutes, made it 2-2, but then Guinea pulled out the winner in stoppage time. Both these teams are most likely out of the running for the most part. They're still not eliminated officially, but there's a lot of ground to make up, and they have to hope that DR Congo and Tunisia slip up. And Group B, Nigeria with a thundering, commanding, emphatic victory over the African champions of in the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, 4-0 at home. Uh, Even I'm sure people who even thought Nigeria would win this match didn't think it would be by such an uncomfortable margin. Anyway, though, Nigeria looks like they are heading to the World Cup. They are the safest bet so far in all of Africa. I believe with Zambia's defeat of Algeria yesterday, that means that Nigeria would probably only need one or two more points from their remaining three games, or for Zambia to fail to beat Algeria in the return leg next week in Algiers. So Nigeria pretty much have a foot and a half in Russia right now. Not 1 foot, a foot and a half. So well done to the Super Eagles, and I was surprised that Cameroon lost by such a big margin. I thought it was going to be a close game. I thought, if Nigeria wins, they'll probably win like 2-1 or something. But the better coach, Hugo Bruce, he got outclassed in this match by Gernot Rohr. So Cameroon is looking down at the abyss. They have to get a win. They have to get a win next week in the return leg, and I think in Yaoundé. I'm not sure where they're playing, but it's in their home country. Um, but Nigeria is riding a huge wave of confidence and momentum. The Super Eagles are soaring, and who knows, they can get another win in Cameroon, or at least a draw. I mean, who's to say they can't do that, you know? Elsewhere in the group, Zambia beating Algeria 3-1, in my opinion, is a slight upset because Algeria is the better team. Algeria is one of the best sides in Africa. They've just been in really bad form lately, and it looks like they won't be able to make up for it because sitting on 1 point from 3 games, uh, that's a disaster. So it looks like Algeria will not be qualifying for the World Cup bar some major miracle or comeback. Well done, good win for Zambia. Can they repeat it in the return leg? Because if they can, that means they emerge as Nigeria's unexpected biggest threat in the group. Group C, we have Morocco. Oh my God. I'm not a very big fan generally of European coaches coming to Africa, but if there's one example of a necessity for it, it's Hervé Renard because this guy is a miracle worker. He has won the African Cup of Nations with 2 different teams, and it seems like every single national side that he touches automatically becomes better. Morocco could have beaten us in the African Cup of Nations. They could have gotten to the semifinals. If they had gotten to the semifinals, I think they would have gotten to the final because I think they would have beaten Burkina Faso. Um, and maybe they would have won the tournament. Who knows? 6-0 over Mali. I don't know if Mali just had a terrible game or if Morocco just turned the notch onto a whole different level. But that is a commanding victory, and it sends a message to the Ivory Coast that we are here. We are here to challenge you for your spot at the World Cup. We want to go back for the first time since 1998. And Morocco, arguably the most improved team in Northern Africa right now. Maybe the best team in Northern Africa. Not sure. But a 6-0 victory over Mali. And Mali is no joke. Mali is not the Seychelles or Sao Tome and Principe or the Comoros. No disrespect to those teams. They also have improved in recent years. Go watch my Africa video. But, I mean, Mali is supposed to be a really strong, physical, and athletic Western African side. They came close to winning the African Cup of Nations a couple of times back in 2012 and 2013. So Mali ain't no joke. Mali's a very serious contender. And for them to be thrashed, even away from home, to Morocco, 6-0. Look out for Morocco. Morocco can qualify for the World Cup. I mean, they are what 2 points right now behind Ivory Coast, so they have to probably get a result against them at some point. So they are at a slight disadvantage, but still, Morocco can pull this off. Speaking of the Ivory Coast, they got an important away victory in Gabon, who seemed pretty much all but eliminated. Um, Ivory Coast sitting on 7 points. I still think they are a very talented side, but I still think they are vulnerable and susceptible to being caught by Morocco because this is not the same Ivory Coast team of the golden years that we knew between 2006 and 2015. They still get by on their individual moments of brilliance, but for the most part, they're not what they used to be. But having said that, they're most likely going to qualify from this group because of that margin and that advantage they have over Morocco of playing them at home at some point, in addition to being a couple of points ahead of them in the table. So anyway, Gabon and Mali look like they're pretty much almost out of it. In Group D, this is the closest group we have. The Cape Verde Islands coming back, needing a win desperately in this group after 2 losses, defeating Bafana, South Africa. A most needed victory for the Portuguese-speaking island nation in West Africa because if they did not get the full 3 points here, they likely would be out. And I said that Cape Verde Islands would beat South Africa. So I'm not sure why people are so surprised about this result, because the Cape Verde Islands, they're one of the most improved teams in Africa as a whole in recent years, and they were almost seeded for this draw. Keep that in mind. They were almost seeded for this draw. So, they slipped up in the first two opening games. It's likely going to be costly, as they probably won't qualify. But defeating South Africa at home is an average result. It's not an upset, in my opinion. South Africa did slip up, though, because now they have games against Senegal and Burkina Faso to worry about. Speaking of which, Burkina Faso came to Senegal's home court, got the draw, got the point. They'll be much happier with it than Senegal will. They're on top of the group with 5 points now. I picked Burkina Faso to qualify from this group, and I still think they're going to qualify despite not being the best team in this group. I do think Senegal is the best side in Africa, but I just had a feeling because they don't have a proper coach that can pull out the full potential in them. Uh, Ridiculously talented side. It'd be cool to see Sadio Mane at a World Cup, but I just think that Burkina Faso is the more defensively disciplined team, and I knew they were going to get a result here on the road. And now they play at home against Senegal. If they get the full 3 points against the Senegalese, I think Senegal's hopes are pretty much over of qualifying. And it's not uncommon for the best team in Africa to not qualify for World Cups. I know that all too well. So moving on to the final group, Egypt versus Uganda. I already made a video on my reaction to that. Go check it out. Uganda is now probably our primary threat to qualify unexpectedly for the World Cup. They might be the surprise package of the African qualifiers and the World Cup qualifiers, for that matter. They could qualify for their first ever World Cup. They're on 7 points. They're one ahead of us. We most likely have to beat them in a couple of days. I think it's tomorrow, I'm not sure, in Alexandria, or we might be fucked. A draw would be acceptable if the results in the other game go our way. And speaking of the other games, Congo almost pulled off a shock road victory in Ghana, which almost certainly would have sunk the Ghanaian World Cup qualifying campaign, even with 3 games remaining, because Ghana would have been on 1 point with games still to play on the road in Congo and Uganda. So I believe Thomas Partey salvaged a point for the Ghanaians. They're on 2 points right now. Congo are on 1 point because they just got a draw. It's their first result from the first 3 games. And that's actually better for Egypt and Uganda, because Congo and Ghana sharing the spoils means that Egypt is still 5 points ahead of Ghana, as well as 5 points ahead of Congo, as well as 4 points ahead of Ghana. So a draw in that match would have been preferable, and it did happen. Ghana don't look good. They really don't look good right now. I think they're going to miss out. That means the primary threat is now Uganda, and we have to be very careful with them. So thank you for watching my video. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe. I'll see you in my next one later today. Until then, much love and peace out.